Picture this. US-Philippine ties not just built on politics, but powered by people, business, and culture. As the world shifts, some US states are stepping up big time. So here's the real question. Who's leading the charge? Is it California with its massive Filipino community, or Texas flexing its trade power? Drop your guess in the comments. Let's talk. Number 1, California. Let's not pretend we don't all know this already. California isn't just diverse, it is the buffet table of identity. And Filipino Americans, they didn't just pull up a chair, they brought the whole damn lechon. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, yeah, we get it, a lot of Filipinos live there, let's pump the brakes. Because what's really wild, this isn't just about population density, it's about cultural dominance. From Daly City, aka Little Manila, to the endless adobo pop-ups in LA, California didn't absorb Filipino culture, it marinated in it. But here's the part no one likes to say out loud. California isn't embracing Filipino America out of kindness, it's doing it because it needs it. Yeah, I said it. This state runs on immigrant hustle like it's oxygen. And when the Filipino community is bringing in $1,350,000,000, 0 cents, in trade with the Philippines in a single year, 2024 to be exact, you start to realize this isn't a side dish, it's the main course. Processed foods, computer parts, transportation tech, it's all moving from California ports straight into Philippine hands. And vice versa. It's not just cultural exchange, it's economic fusion, a trade tango, a business love story with a dash of sinigang. Ever wonder how a single state in the US ends up ranking the Philippines as its 27th largest export partner in a world with nearly 200 countries? Yeah, let that sit for a second. Because while everyone's busy arguing about who's more inclusive, California's out here turning Filipino festivals into economy-boosting events and letting Jollibee do more for local morale than half the city councils combined. And don't get me started on the community initiatives. From nurses to techies to teachers, this isn't just representation, it's reinforcement. Filipinos aren't making it in California. They built parts of it quietly, relentlessly, with just enough sarcasm and karaoke to stay sane. So if you thought California's place at the top was just about headcount, think again. This is about symbiosis, about a bond that's deeper than data and flashier than stats. It's about two places, one homeland, one adopted, feeding off each other's strengths in a way that makes both better. And maybe, just maybe, California's not leading because it has the most Filipinos. Maybe it's leading because it acts like they matter. You think another state can top that? Good luck. Number 2, Hawaii. Let's cut the brochure crap. Hawaii's not just palm trees and overpriced pina coladas. It's a frontline player in the U-Philippine relationship, whether we talk about it or not. And yeah, while tourists are busy snapping sunset selfies in Waikiki, there's a whole other story happening beneath the surface. One that started over a century ago when Filipino immigrants first landed here, not to find themselves, but to survive the brutal sugar plantations and send money back home. You think hustle culture's new? Filipinos wrote the manual before it had a name. Today, Hawaii isn't just hosting a Filipino presence, it's running on it. From hospitals to classrooms to local politics, Filipinos have gone from laborers to leaders. And the punchline? Most mainland Americans have no idea. Here's the kicker you didn't expect. The Hawaii and Guam National Guards are now actively collaborating with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Yeah, March 2025, they met at Camp Aguinaldo, not to play nice, but to strategize for real. Think less luau, more logistics. Less aloha shirts, more military-grade alliances. And let's be real, this isn't about feel-good cultural diplomacy. This is about geopolitical necessity. The Pacific isn't just a blue backdrop on a postcard, it's a chessboard, and Hawaii's the queen piece America can't afford to lose. Curiosity check, why is Hawaii training with the Philippines military while half of Congress still can't point to Manila on a map? Because someone's finally waking up to reality. Alliances aren't built at G7 summits. They're forged through boots on the ground and bonds in the community. And Hawaii has both. The Filipino identity here. It's not an accessory, it's embedded. It's your auntie working 2 jobs and still bringing pansi to the potluck. It's the guy fixing your AC who also served in Afghanistan. It's the nurse who stayed during the hurricane when everyone else left. You want quiet strength? Hawaii's Filipino community is the human definition of it. So yeah, while the rest of the US debates diversity like it's some trendy new app, Hawaii's been living it, unfiltered, unpolished, and absolutely essential. This isn't paradise. It's proof that deep roots and defense strategy can coexist and thrive on an island that refuses to just be a vacation stop. You ready for the next state? Let's turn up the heat. Number 3, Texas. Let's be honest, Texas isn't just big, it's extra. Big hats, big trucks, big egos, and now big opportunity. But here's the thing no one talks about. While the rest of America's flirting with recession and gridlock, Texas is busy printing money with a three-headed beast called energy, agriculture, and tech. And while some states are still figuring out Zoom, Texas is building data centers next to cattle ranches and calling it innovation. Do you ever wonder why everyone from California is moving here? It's not just the lack of state income tax. It's because Texas doesn't ask for permission. It just does. You either keep up or you get mowed down like overgrown grass on a West Texas back road. Now here's where it gets interesting. In early 2025, the Philippine consulate in Houston said, "Hey, we see what y'all are doing. Let's talk." Translation, the Philippines wants a piece of that Texas pie, and not the kind you serve at a church potluck. Because while Manila's chasing modernization, Texas is already neck deep in the industries the Philippines needs to level up. Energy grids that don't collapse when it drizzles, tech sectors that hire more engineers than influencers, and agribusiness systems that don't depend on guesswork and good vibes. It's not just diplomacy, it's survival for both sides. And don't get it twisted, this isn't some fairy tale of equal partnership. Texas isn't exactly handing out handshakes for free. But here's the metaphor no one uses. Texas is like a stubborn oil rig. Hard to reach, rough on the edges, but if you tap it right, it gushes opportunity. You just better come prepared with a plan and boots that don't slip. Filipinos get that. We've been hacking systems for decades, finding angles, making it work, turning scraps into strategy. And if there's one place that respects that kind of hustle, it's Texas. So when someone says, "Why Texas?" here's the uncomfortable truth. Because it's the future wrapped in cowboy denim and Wi-Fi. And whether you like the accent or not, it's speaking the language of power. What happens when Filipino adaptability meets Texan audacity? But that's not just a question, that's a storm brewing, and it's got both flags in the eye of it. Up next, we head even deeper. Keep your boots on. Number 4, New York. Let's be real, New York doesn't hold your hand. It shoves you into a subway full of strangers, overcharges you for a sandwich, and dares you to cry about it. And somehow, we love it. Because New York isn't just a city, it's a pressure cooker. And guess who thrives in pressure? People who've been through worse. People who know that being broke in Manila still beats pretending to be rich on Instagram. People who treat setbacks like appetizers and resilience as the main course. Yeah, we're talking about Filipinos in New York, the quiet force behind your favorite bakery, your hospital's heart, and that cultural festival you forgot to RSVP to. We're not tourists, we're fixtures. Permanent, unshakable. Like cockroaches in a rent-controlled apartment, but with better manners. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. In March 2025, the Philippine consulate didn't just network. They sat down with Israel's consul general to cook up some economic and cultural magic. Yeah, while most of us are still debating rent versus ramen, they're playing diplomatic chess in Midtown. You ever wonder why cities like New York survive while others rot from the inside out? It's because it uses diversity like a secret weapon. And not just for food festivals and PR brochures. In New York, your culture is currency, and we're cashing in. Now here's the sharp truth most people dodge. New York doesn't care about you until you make it impossible to ignore you. It's not a city built on fairness, it's built on impact. You either show up or get swept under. That's why this Filipino-Israeli connection matters. It proves that if you've got community, credibility, and cojones, figuratively speaking, you get a seat at the table, even if that table's covered in bagels, brisket, and bagum. Let me drop this metaphor that slaps. Living in New York is like dating someone who's way out of your league. It's exhausting, expensive, and emotionally abusive. But if you can handle the chaos, you'll level up faster than you ever thought possible. So what does this mean for the Philippines? It means tapping into the kind of city that doesn't hand out favors, but rewards those who hustle hard enough to leave a dent. And that's exactly what we're doing. Quietly, consistently, strategically. Stick around, we're not done yet. In the next city, it's the wild card, the one no one saw coming. Ready? Number 5, Washington. be honest. Why do we keep sending our smartest people abroad, then act surprised when our country can't get Wi-Fi in half the provinces? Yeah, that one stings a little, huh? Because deep down, we all know the truth. The Philippines is bleeding brilliance. Every time a nurse, coder, or engineer steps on a plane, we clap like it's a win, when really, it's a red flag waving in slow motion. Now enter Washington, not the capital drama show, the state. The place where it rains opportunity and everyone's too busy optimizing cloud servers to care if you're brown, bilingual, and built for multitasking. In April 2025, over 1,000 consular services were delivered to Filipinos in Bellevue. Just a bunch of people getting their paperwork in order? Nah, that's 1,000 lives being upgraded like iOS patches, quietly, efficiently, without the mess. You ever wonder why Filipino immigrants thrive in tech while our own local systems are still crashing like Internet Explorer on a bad day? Here's why. Washington is what happens when potential meets platform. Microsoft, Amazon, names so big they've practically replaced religion. And guess who's in their offices? In their code, in their bones? Us. Not as janitors, not as background characters in someone else's success story, as creators, collaborators, the ones holding the damn thing together with duct tape brain cells and decades of forced resilience. Let's not sugarcoat it. We're tired of being exported talent in an imported poverty cycle. Washington gets it. That's why digital collaboration talks are happening. Real ones, not the photo op and fishball type. We're talking infrastructure, innovation, interdependence. Because if Washington is the motherboard, the Philippines is the power source. We just never had a stable socket to plug into. Now we do. It's not just about opportunity anymore. It's about ownership of skills, of futures, of narratives. So while you're wondering if Washington's just trees and tech, know this. It's quietly becoming one of the most powerful hubs for Filipinos rewriting their worth. Not in pesos, not in promises, but in pure digital fire. And we're just getting started. Now ask yourself, if Washington sees our values so clearly, why do we keep waiting for permission to see it ourselves? Stick around, what's coming next might just flip the entire script. Number 6, Florida. Be honest, why do we act surprised when Florida embraces Filipinos like family, but back home, we still treat our own culture like a costume we dust off for special occasions? We'll blast tinikling at embassy galas, but heaven forbid someone mixes Tagalog and English without being branded too colonial. That's not culture shock, it's self-sabotage in barong. In 2025, Miami and Tampa hosted consular outreach missions that helped hundreds of Filipinos sort their lives out. Visas, documents, legal limbo, done, cleared, over. You ever try to renew a passport overseas? It's like fighting a dragon with a paperclip. So yeah, this matters. But here's the twist. Florida isn't just where dreams go to tan and retirees go to golf. It's becoming a silent operator in cultural diplomacy. And Filipinos are running the back end. Literally, at the University of South Florida, Filipino student orgs are doing more for cultural exchange than half the PR budgets in Washington. These aren't just clubs, they're cultural war rooms disguised as potlucks. And let's be real, nothing teaches diplomacy faster than a Filipino auntie judging your pantsuit. Now hold up, this next part's important, and it's about you. From our stats, more viewers are watching than subscribing, which is kind of wild considering how deep you're already in. So if you're nodding, laughing, or side-eyeing the screen right now, just join the crew. Before we move on to this episode, I want to make you a part of this. Oh, thank you. Bye, back to Florida. Despite global travel taking a nosedive, Florida still welcomed over 41 million visitors in early 2025. That's not tourism, that's gravitational pull. That's a state doing the absolute most while pretending to be laid back. And Filipinos, we're not just visiting, we're threading ourselves into the story. Quietly, powerfully, relentlessly. So here's the question. If a state that's half vacation, half chaos can create room for us to thrive, what's everyone else's excuse? We're not waiting to be invited to the table, we're bringing our own damn table. Probably with Halo and some karaoke mics on top. Florida didn't just open its arms, it handed us the mic, poured us sweet tea, and said, go on, tell them who you really are. And for once, we actually are. Number 7, Illinois. You ever notice how the most unassuming places carry the heaviest weight? Like how Illinois looks all cornfields and Cubs games, but underneath, quiet power, Midwest muscle. And guess what? Filipinos aren't just here for the deep dish pizza. We're here to build bridges, literally and figuratively. Now let's be real for a second. Most people treat Springfield like it's just a political backdrop with a Lincoln statue every 10 feet. But in May 2025, something rare happened. The Philippine consulate rolled up with one mission: serve the overlooked. They brought services straight to the people. Passport renewals, legal aid, the paperwork jungle most of us avoid until it bites. It wasn't flashy, it was necessary. Then in February, Filipino-American leaders didn't just gather for small talk and merienda. Nope, they met with consular heads in Chicago to talk investments back home. That's right, while others flex luxury bags on TikTok, these folks were figuring out how to rebuild an entire country. You ever hear someone say, "I want to give back," and actually mean it? Yeah, it's rare, but it's happening. Here's the real shocker. Illinois' manufacturing sector contributes 4.6% to the US GDP. That's billions. And it's not just car parts and steel beams, it's potential. Untapped, underestimated, underappreciated. But you know what Filipinos are good at? Taking the scraps the system forgot and turning them into scaffolding for progress. Let me put it another way. If America is the engine, Illinois is the wrench. And Filipinos, we're the hands turning it. Book loop. You ever wonder why so many hardworking Filipinos stay quiet? Because while everyone else is posting grind set, they're actually doing the grinding. In factories, hospitals, behind the scenes, no spotlight, just sweat, skill, and one stubborn dream that maybe someday someone will notice. Oh, and by the way, if you're still watching this but haven't subscribed, that's like showing up to every karaoke night and refusing to sing. From the data, we've got more viewers than subscribers. So if you're already part of this, make it official, hit subscribe. All right, let's keep going. So here's the punchline. Illinois didn't expect the quietest workers in the room. They're shaping foreign policy with one hand and wiring remittances with the other. No clout, just impact. And if that doesn't make you rethink who really runs the show, you're probably still waiting for permission to matter. We stopped waiting. Number 8, Nevada. Let's talk Las Vegas, the city where people go to lose money, lose sleep, and occasionally lose their dignity in a drive-through wedding. But underneath all that flashing chaos, something quiet, powerful, and overdue just happened. In April 2025, Vegas unveiled its Filipino Town Cultural Corridor, a 1.2-mile stretch that finally says, yeah, we're here, and no, we're not just here to refill your buffet trays. It's not just a name, it's territory, it's identity. It's what happens when a community stops asking for a seat at the table and just builds their own damn restaurant. But wait, this isn't just about parades and pancakes. Nevada's doing something even more impressive. It's playing hard in the Renewable Energy League. The Moapa Southern Paiute Solar Project is no small fry. It's one of the largest solar farms in the US, and it's beaming power straight from the desert. Now, if that doesn't sound relevant, here's why it should punch you in the conscience. The Philippines is drowning in typhoons, heat waves, and climate bills it didn't sign up for. Yet here we are, absorbing disaster like a sponge, while rich countries argue about gas stoves. Nevada, though, it's putting its money where the sun is. Do you ever wonder why the places least responsible for climate change are the first ones on fire or underwater? No, really, think about that. And now imagine if our leaders actually took notes from Nevada's playbook instead of signing MOUs that never make it past the photo app. See, this is bigger than just solar panels and street names. This is about connecting the dots. Filipino communities in Nevada aren't just sending remittances. They're sending solutions. They're the quiet bridge between a burning homeland and a state trying to cool the planet down. And if you're still watching this thinking, damn, I didn't know Nevada was doing all that, that's the point. The best stories never make the news. Now, before we move on, smash that like button like it owes you rent. If this hit a nerve, it's because it was supposed to. Nevada didn't just give us a cultural corridor, they handed us a climate conversation. And knowing us, we'll turn that 1.2 miles into a movement. Let's go deeper. Number 9 is where it gets even messier and more glorious. Number 9, New Jersey. Let's just say it. If every Filipino nurse in New Jersey called out sick for a week, the hospitals wouldn't just struggle, they'd collapse faster than your New Year's resolutions. Because here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. New Jersey's healthcare system isn't just supported by immigrants, it's dependent on them. And Filipinos, they're the backbone, the spine, the whole damn vertebrae. Do you ever walk into a hospital and wonder why it still functions despite staff burnout, equipment shortages, and patients lined up like it's Black Friday? Look closer. It's not the administration keeping it together. It's a bunch of Filipino nurses running on caffeine, cultural guilt, and sheer moral obligation. In fact, this year, the Philippine Nurses Association of New Jersey is holding a 2025 convention called Impact and Influence, which, if we're being real, sounds cute, but they've already been impacting and influencing while the rest of the system's been gaslighting them with pizza parties and hero name tags. Need a stat that stings? New Jersey has the highest percentage of immigrant doctors and surgeons in the entire US. Translation, the people saving your life are the same ones getting side-eyed at the airport. Let that marinate. But here's where it really hurts. Despite being essential, they're still treated as expendable. Long shifts, emotional trauma, barely any institutional support, yet they show up. Why? Because quitting isn't in the Filipino vocabulary. Apparently, neither is rest. And while we're busy praising their resilience, ask yourself this: why are we so damn comfortable leaning on people we refuse to lift up? It's the quiet contradiction of modern America. We celebrate diversity right up until it costs us something. We call them family in the hospital, but forget their names the moment we're discharged. So now I'm asking you not to clap, not to like, not to throw virtual confetti. Just think and tell me honestly, shouldn't the people holding the line finally get to draw one? Drop your thoughts below, the real ones, the uncomfortable ones. I'll read them all. Because number 10, oh, it's not letting up. It's peeling back the next layer of truth, and trust me, it only gets louder from here. Number 10, Virginia. Let's not pretend. We all know someone who still uses 1234 as their password and thinks VPN is a brand of vitamins. That's the digital battlefield we live in, and Virginia is not here to play tech support. It's quietly becoming America's cybersecurity war room. While half the country is still arguing about TikTok bans and whether AI is stealing jobs or souls, Virginia is out here fortifying the digital gates. Through the Commonwealth Cyber Initiative, they're not just handing out certifications, they're building a nerd army. But not the kind who rage about graphics cards, the kind who shut down cyber attacks while you're still trying to log into your email. Here's the part that should wake you up faster than bad coffee. Virginia is launching a trade mission to the Philippines and Malaysia this November. Not for vacation, not for diplomacy fluff, for cybersecurity and defense. Let that sink in. Because while most states are still stuck in 1999, Virginia is exporting cybersecurity like it's a damn weapon, because it is. But here's the sting. If Virginia's the fortress, guess who's been quietly holding the drawbridge? Filipino tech talent, software engineers, security analysts, back-end devs, the invisible backbone behind your firewall and grandma's online banking. So when Virginia shakes hands in Manila this fall, don't kid yourself. They're not there to teach. They're there to recruit, collaborate, maybe even poach the very minds keeping your data from ending up on the dark web in exchange for 40% off Ray-Bans. And yet, here we are, still treating IT folks like socially awkward background characters who fix the Wi-Fi. Nah, in Virginia, they're frontliners in a silent war fighting viruses you can't see and enemies you'll never meet. So here's the uncomfortable question. If cyber is the new battlefield, who gets left behind when the code stops compiling? Virginia knows the answer. It's already picking its team. Now you tell me, is the rest of America catching up or just pretending the breach notification wasn't meant for them? Sound off, no filters, no fake patriotism, just facts. What do you think this mission really means for Filipinos and for America? Because this might look like diplomacy, but it smells a lot like strategy.